Moines cycling community. Why are we here? Des Moines has a fantastic cycling scene. We've got all this wonderful infrastructure. You can see this great track behind us. However, we're kind of limited by one thing, which is our famous weather. A solid third of the year, we can't really go outside for fear of being blown away, boiled, or frozen. And for a lot of kids, that means staying inside and just looking at their screen all day. We're here because we want to give them an alternative. We want kids to have a place to go, to have fun, to be active, to enjoy moving their bodies, ideally in midair, and for parents to have a place to go do that with them. That's affordable and that's freely available. What we're hoping, when this is all said and done, is to have a gigantic, beautiful warehouse full of dirt, with a concession, with a skills track, and a place for the Des Moines cycling community to gather, to be able to have mechanic shops, all that good stuff. I'd like to thank my family here. They're the reason that part of the reason that we're doing this. When we lived in Utah, one of our favorite places to go was the pump track. It was close by, it was free, and all the parents would go there, their kids would run around, and until very shortly ago, you could see lots of kids love just running around on these things. It's a great place to take your family. And so that's kind of why we're doing this. And with all that rambling, I'm going to hand it off to John Lichtig. He's the president of 8035 BMX, and yeah, he's going to talk about the racing aspect of it.
All right, thanks, Bobby. So my name is John Lichtig. I'm the president of Iowa Central 8035 BMX. Bobby, thanks for your remarks and explaining kind of where this vision came from and where we're at today. We're thrilled to be kicking off a fundraising campaign to support the feasibility study of an indoor bike park at BMX racetrack. 8035 BMX is a 501c3 nonprofit. We're run completely by volunteers. Our mission is to provide a family-centered environment promoting physical activity and developing riders as athletes and individuals. This is extremely exciting. It's exceedingly hard to run a BMX racetrack in the winter. 5 months out of the year, we can't do anything. You'll see the dirt behind me is essentially mud or it's frozen. Currently, the BMX community has to drive upwards of 5 hours to find activity during the winter months. This is not only time consuming, but as you can imagine, expensive and limiting to those without the resources. This project, if brought to fruition, looks to alleviate the time and expense. For obvious reasons, this project is exciting for 8035 BMX, all of our riders, parents alike. Rather than traveling out of state, we look forward to bringing riders from the Midwest and nationally through USA BMX sanctioned regional and national events. I can tell you personally, I've been on the road the last 5 weekends with my son. I would much rather be in Des Moines, Iowa doing this. That said, I'm just as excited at the prospect of bringing together multiple cycling disciplines under one roof. I imagine a day when riders of all ages involved in BMX racing, freestyle BMX, and mountain bike, to name a few, share the same facility and camaraderie. The true community that can be built and brought together is immense. Central Iowa has a wonderful cycling community, as Bobby alluded to. I'm part of that. I love to road cycle and gravel bike. My son is way into this. I'm excited at the prospect of broadening our reach. Thank you. Oops.
Can we just give it up real quick for Bobby and John and their vision and leadership? I just really appreciate your dedication. And I just want to commend you on the vision and leadership that's being shown here today. So I'm Luke Hoffman. I'm the executive director of the Iowa Bicycle Coalition, and we are a statewide nonprofit in Iowa that is dedicated to ensuring that everyone has fair and equal access to safe and accessible bicycling, regardless of your background or ability. And that's why when I heard about this project and sat down with Bobby and John to talk to them about their vision for this, it fit squarely within the scope of our mission. And so I'm really excited to announce a commitment of $1,000 today for the feasibility study. So that's one of the new commitments that we got. Thank you, Luke. course. And this is something that I'm personally really excited about. I mean, as it's already been mentioned, I think this is going to be something that is a differentiator for our economy in terms of not only health and wellness, like Bobby was talking about, so that kids can be active and healthy, to be, have a space where they can be provided with skills and education, but also in terms of the talent attraction and retention, right? So this is something that this region is needing right now. There is a need and a desire for this. While we have a very robust cycling community, this is something that is a missing piece of the puzzle. And so when we complete this picture, I think we're going to have a world-class cycling community, complete with facilities to match. And so that's why I'm very excited. There's a lot of different aspects of this that we're going to work through in the feasibility study, but I'm excited to go through that process, and I'm really humbled by the fact that we've already got several commitments just since yesterday, just since the articles started coming out about this project. So, one other thing I'll mention is just on the talent attraction and retention piece. This is something that I think is really important when we're talking about families, young families deciding to have roots here, to stay here, or to move here, and also the tourism dollars that are going to be generated and the economic impact of this project. I think that's definitely worth noting. So that's what I'm excited about. That's what we're about, and we're excited to join arms, shoulder to shoulder with these guys, and that's what being a coalition is all about. So let's lift them up, and if you're interested in donating to the feasibility study, you could do that with, there's a website with Square and 8035, I believe we have the option to do that, or you could do it through the coalition. We have a restricted giving option. You can go to iowabicyclecoalition.org, and if you indicate with your gift that this is for the feasibility project with 8035 in the BMX Skills Park, we will make sure that gets to them. Thank you.
Here, can I just talk about the feasibility study itself? Okay. You didn't see it, but I had more coffee. So the feasibility study itself, we have 1 year to accept a proposal from CSL, which is a company based out of Minneapolis. They have worked here in Des Moines as well as Cedar Rapids on a recplex for them, as well as the soccer stadium here. What this feasibility study will tell us is basically where we should have this, what kind of fee structure can support it, what kind of amenities we could provide. I'm hoping that it includes a big thing about LEED certification, because that would just be awesome. But basically this is kind of like, it helps provide a blueprint for the whole project. And so the proposal itself is for $47,000, and we're already well on our way. So yeah, if you guys, we're happy to take any questions. We'd love to have anybody who wants to take a tour of the track. Some folks did us a favor the other night by showing some of the need for this, and that they vandalized the container over there. And we have a nice helping of mud as well, just to give visuals. But yeah, we're happy to take any questions.
How much money have you raised so far?
So far, over $16,000 in commitments, as well as actual donations.
It's also good to mention that BMX racing is also an Olympic sport, been since 2008. So it's a great opportunity for bringing in all kinds of people from all over the world to be able to race. In Des Moines, if it's good.
Yeah, that's an important aspect of this too. Is that part of this building of the cycling community in Central Iowa is that BMX is one of the few cycling disciplines that's kind of agnostic to landscape. Every other kind of cycling discipline, they want mountains, mountains, mountains. BMX, you can have it anywhere. It's been kind of like a half secret dream of ours that Iowa would produce an Olympian out of this, because you would have somewhere where you could train all year round, where they could, where people would come from everywhere to be able to see it, to race. And the more folks that we have here, training for stuff like that, we'll have cycling industry come here. It just really acts as like a magnet for all these other kinds of parts of the cycling industry.
Yeah, to speak specifically to the Olympic or the world side of this, we've got some wonderful, wonderful talent coming out of Des Moines, Iowa already, using this track as their home track. We have 3 different riders who have qualified for Worlds. later this year, which happens to be in the United States this year. I think 2 of them are here right now.
That's awesome.
Here's some Astro over here. So, you know, if we can just build upon that, if they're doing that with the resources that they have now, imagine what they'll be able to do once they have a legitimate facility really to work on their practice. So kudos to them. And I think the larger piece of this also is bringing all of these disciplines of cycling together, allowing that natural conversation to happen with the younger folks, you know, with the older guys. So that is something that BMX already does, but I think spreading that to the mountain bike scene and spreading that to freestyle BMX is just going to be a wonderful gift to the city, to the metro area. Scott.
Can you talk a little bit about the track scene here? I mean, the practices, the races, how to get involved, and the attendance?
Yeah, sure. So 8035 BMX has been around since 2002. We were originally started by a woman named Miss Kitty. She's, 75, 76 years old now and still racing. Just an awesome woman. She's still active in our community. So as far as what are we doing today, we have races about 7 months out of the year here. We start off in the spring with Saturday races, and then we move to Tuesday races in the June period once school's out. That said, we have beginners league. We're planning on doing at least 2 beginners leagues this year. First one will start in April. You can get all that information off of the 8035bmx.com website. So the beginners leagues really take a kid from just being able to ride a bike to being able to manage through all of the jumps and dips and turns and everything that goes with BMX riding. Learning how to do start gates, learning how to manage the straights, learning how to manage corners. We actually have at least one coach here on our hand right now, Austin. So it's a wonderful opportunity to take kids, anywhere from age, 4 or 5 all the way up through 12, 13 years old and teach them how to do this sport. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So I think
Here, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Cindy Collingwood. So I've been fortunate enough to be the voice of the 8035 community, and like John has says, we've been able to go out and race at a lot of different states. This has been something that's been very intriguing, and I think that the city of Des Moines, right now, having the largest skate park in the nation, has already put us on the map. I mean, we've had Dew Tour here. We have skaters that have come from different states, different countries, and that's the same thing that can happen with BMX. Iowa does not have to be a flyover state. Every year we have gone to the Grands that happens in Tulsa, and a couple years ago Tulsa had generated over $10 million of revenue for that city, and this is something that happens every single year, and that number continues to grow. The moto counts continue to climb as the sport begins to grow. This is something that has not been overnight. I mean, we have riders that have been racing since the 80s, like Shane over here. And here he is back racing as a 50-some expert. That's awesome. We have, the area being at the 8035 corridor really puts us in the center of the U.S. The Kings, right? Yep, Asher. That's when the boys went to go qualify for the Worlds. We drove to Virginia to go out and race, and you think about what that can bring to Iowa, being in the center of the U.S., to have a lot of riders come. The money is there. People are willing to pay to come out and race, just like any sport, just like competitive cheer, competitive basketball, baseball, you name all of those sports. BMX is something that has a lot of grassroots in what it is. And the revenue that it can bring is just phenomenal. A couple years ago, when the World's Championship, the UCI Worlds, happened in Rock Hill, South Carolina, that brought over $19 million to that city. And that is just, if you're thinking about 4 race days, it's mind-boggling how much money that is. So to think that if Des Moines can host a national USA BMX event, we are looking to bring potentially millions to the city every single year. And Minnesota, up in Isani, Minnesota at Rum River BMX. They have an indoor track. The track was there. They built a building around it. It's the house that BMX built, as they're saying. And they have locked in a contract with USA BMX to host a national event for at least 4 years. And we can be that too. We definitely have the potential to grow the sport. And I think the vision of what we want for our children, what we want for the next generations to come, it's there, it'll happen. But I think it's always about money. We're asking for money, we're asking for funding, but the money is there for the city, for our economy here in Iowa.
Woo!
Nice.
All that.
Cindy saving the day with the numbers. How about that?
That's good.
That's great.
Any other questions? Yes.
You guys have been to these different, facilities and arenas all over the country. Is there any input that you've gotten from different facilities and anybody you're trying to kind of model your own business plan after?
Yeah, there have been conversations with other tracks along with USA BMX, a sanctioning body as well. I think what we're trying to replicate is an indoor facility. Rum River BMX is a really good example, but they're 4.5 hours away. So they have a wonderful track. It's world class. I think the piece where we're trying to go a little bit bigger is bringing in the entire community, so it's not just BMX racing. Trying to bring in the freestyle BMX, trying to bring in the mountain bikers, trying to bring in the little kids on striders. It's going larger is essentially what our vision is. But certainly there are models. USA BMX, we had a conversation with them last week. They're excited about the project. More conversations to come there. So, yeah.
Do you have a short list of any potential sites for it?
So we have we've been talking with the city of West Des Moines, and we have actually sat down with Ryan Penning, who I promise has not promised us anything other than time of day, and thank him for that. He's been very supportive of the project, and we have looked at 2 places near the existing Recplex in West Des Moines. One is near the intersection of Grand and I-35. It's a gigantic triangular piece of current, I don't know, it's not even farmland. And then the other is a site directly adjacent to the Recplex, where that would potentially host new basketball courts, but could also be repurposed for the track. And it's also just an enormous plot of currently marginal farmland. Yeah.
And I would say that the feasibility study is going to guide us on where that might be. So if it's West Des Moines, or if it's Des Moines or Pleasant Hill or Norwalk or wherever, we just want to be in the metro. So really the feasibility study should help guide us on that. And then obviously a lot of conversations with different cities to see what kind of public-private partnership we can create out of this.
I mean, ideally, we want it somewhere where kids, we want families all over the metro area to be able to access it. If it's near dart lines, the better. We don't have a firm location yet. That's something that the feasibility study will help us determine.
But if you're a city or a mayor who's really interested in having this facility in your area, please do feel free to reach out. We're taking suitors.
Any other questions?